Says we live.
We good?
Yep, says we up and rolling. It's just showing this.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Hey, want to start off by giving all praises
unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem HaChakodash.
I want to say double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. This Rob Amar for the Nebraska campus, GMS Any Nebraska, as well as GMS Any Fort Nebraska, or it's, GMS Fort Nebraska. This is the Nebraska camp, I see. Another blessed salutation to the innumerable multitude, the weak that amongst tares, the women and children that follow this truth, sincerity, a sincere Ahava thumb unto you. Okay, we just wanted to land back on the flavor of the month and going over Esther 8 and 17. Let's get that real quick.
Esther chapter 8 verse 17. And in every province and in every city whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
Yeah, and this doesn't mean that they converted, but even in that essence, that don't make any sense because Yahweh Shai, according to y'all, Jesus is the one that grafted the Gentiles in, right? But that's not true. The Lord gave repentance unto Israel. Okay, let's get that. Is that let's see here. Y'all got it?
This is Acts chapter 5, verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. The power of our fathers raised up Yahweh Shai, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him hath the Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins.
There you go. To give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins, because the whole second coming was based off of granting repentance. Okay, the nations were already they already were in sin. Like the Lord, they weren't punished, they weren't afflicted, they weren't cursed because of their sin. Unless you were in the land of Israel. All right. Let's get that in Hebrews chapter 10. Because these nations weren't chastised for breaking the laws. Okay? 12, is it 12? 12 and 10?
Yeah, this is the book of Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, For they verily for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, but he for our own profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Now no chastising for the present seeming to be joyous, but grievous. So I can have to go up. Yeah, kind of have to go up. So to verse 7, Hebrews 12 verse 7. It says, if you endure chastising, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, wherefore all the partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons.
That's right. So all the partakers is talking about the Israelites because we're dealing with the curses of breaking the laws. Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. You shall sow much, bring in little. You shall build and have no account of your labors. Okay? The amount of things that was built in America by Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans is ridiculous, and we have no credit for it. The White House, a bunch of inventions. Jake go through the Black History Month and go all over the refrigerator, the internet, and all. You know what I'm saying? The Civil War, okay? That was one off the backs of Jake, okay? That's not even acknowledged. They take that any war, the war that Jake fought, the Tuskegee Airmen, okay? They didn't want them to train with them. They built their own aerospace around at Tuskegee, created these airmen, and was one of the best. You know, and only reason why that's acknowledged because it's like really because it's documented. And Esau has he has a slick way of lying. He omits the truth. He will omit the involvement of Israelite explorers. Okay, he'll omit the involvement of a lot of things, man. All right. So I say that to say you can't just go off of Esau's information. You got to kind of extrapolate and do your digging and listen to both sides of the coin. Okay. Is that it to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So within that, man, we was going into Ezra, where they was trying to say that the Jews converted, but once you go into that situation, you're going to realize that they didn't convert, and they didn't get the promise. Okay, it's because you keep the laws don't mean that you get the benefits of being an Israelite. Okay, just because somebody invite me in their house and tell me to in their house, when they eat dinner, I can eat dinner with them. I gotta take my shoes off. I gotta operate. I gotta follow the rules of this household. But when they dad die, I do not inherit the will. Okay, that's the thing. You heathen don't inherit anything that's promised. All right, and what was promised us is the kingdom of heaven. Matter of fact, let's go into Romans chapter 9, man. It's a good point of what is due to us.
This is Romans chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, I say the truth in Hamashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have a great heaviness and a continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites.
Yeah, and Paul was a apostle to the Gentiles. Now, when you go into that Gentile, or there's no Greek or Jew, goes into Grecian, Greek-speaking Jew, pretty much an assimilated Israelite assimilated to the Greek nature. And the thing is that you guys that are you Christians are starting to get into the scriptures, but you don't know, you're just scratching the surface trying to speak on deep subjects or ancient subjects. All right, you trying to talk about a movie, you only watch 5, you only watch the previews too. Talking about that movie trash, like you only seen highlights. You don't even know what the movie's really about. There's plot twists, okay, all throughout the scriptures. Well, it really ain't no plot twist toward the promise or anything, but there's underlining notes and things that happen that will go over Jake's head. Okay? You got more to that?
Yeah. Romans 9 and 4, it says, who are Israelites, to whom pertains the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises.
Yeah, because even you tell me when these heathen were assimilated into Israelite culture under David, under King David, King Saul. You had the Philistines, the Canaanites that still remain in our land. They didn't inherit nothing. Okay, they had to stay because of the vow we made with them, but they don't get salvation. Okay, I'm quite sure they had to keep the laws. You could be in our land, eat no pork.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is over all, the Most High blessed forever. Amen.
Yeah, so that whole chapter goes in on that. But the point is that we were given a promise, which is talking about the land of Israel, not the people that are in that land. That promised land is our land. All right, the covenant, the giving of the law. That covenant that he made was us to being a chosen people. Okay? And that was given by a sacrifice, man. All right, these nations didn't partake in that. And not only that, but and it's ironic that these Christians, I believe it's all through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai that y'all chose Ezra, because Ezra is a clear point that no matter how much you help or you're assimilated into a certain kingdom, you still aren't an Israelite. Okay, and you still can't participate in the rebuilding of the temple. Okay, in that time, the temple was a physical one. But in this time, the temple is a spiritual one. The foundation that Cyrus the Great approved, okay, in that time was the foundation of the temple. And in this time, that foundation is Yahu, Yahweh Shai. Okay, Yahweh Shai is the foundation. Anybody know the precept to that? In Peter is the first stone laid. Okay. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and 11.
For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach.
There you go. Yahweh Shai is the foundation of the church, meaning it's the laws. You can't be no part of the alphabet community. You can't say he don't exist. You can't say he's not the son of the heavenly. You can't be an antichrist. You can't be an anti-Messiah, man. You have to. Matter of fact, let's get that in. What is it? 1 John 5. You got to admit the record. Okay.
This is 1 John chapter 5 verse 10. He that believeth on the Son of the Most High hath the witness in himself. He that believeth not the Most High hath made him a liar, because he believeth not the record that the Most High gave of his Son.
That's right. You're right. The record that the Most High gave of his Son, that he came to save Israel, man. That's a record. We just read that record in the book of Acts. All right? You're an antichrist to sit there and say that heathen can make it, man. If you're an Israelite doing it or you're a heathen doing it, you are anti-Messiah, man, because you're not reinforcing the record that was given. Okay? So I wanted to go into a couple historical points we was going to go into using the Josephus in reference to a couple situations, because we were scattered as Israelites, man. And us being scattered, we assimilated into other kingdoms. And within that simulation, that don't make us Babylonians. That didn't make us Assyrians. That didn't make us Greeks. You know, that didn't make us Romans. We were citizens. Because what is an American? Wouldn't that, you show me the original American. Okay? That name goes back to Amerigo Vespucci. He's a banker that just came over here pointing that shit. And then took his claim, named the fame, and got his name stamped on America. So you tell me who's American. Where's the original American? The only one that you can technically say is the Gadites, man. Okay? But that the term is saying I'm American, you're a citizen.
Yeah.
And things come associated with it.
If I go over to China and I'm drinking tea and eating noodles and rice and keeping some of their customs, I'm not a Chinese.
Yeah.
I'm a citizen of China.
You're a citizen of China. I don't see how Jake can't understand that. All right? Because in the time that these other nations, matter of fact, let's read that again, what you had got, and then we're going to read the Josephus version of it.
What I had?
Ezra.
Come, Esther chapter 8, verse 17. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
All right, so when you go into the Josephus, chapter 11, it's 11, 13, and 285. Okay, if that helps. The chapter, it comes from Give me a second. The chapter in make sure I get the 11th, because it kind of, you got to kind of navigate through this thing, man. You know. So I'm gonna give you the whole layout so you can get to it. In book 11, which is the title is containing the intervals of 250 years and 5 months from the first of Cyrus the Great, of Cyrus to the death of Alexander the Great. All right, and within that, we're going to go to chapter 6. Okay, chapter 6, and then we're going to go into you could say verse 13 or excerpt 13. In 285 of 13 it says, "And joy and a beam of salvation encompassed the Jews," which is the same situation that the brother Yatazak just read. Both those that were in the cities and those that were in the countries, upon the publication of the king's letters, insomuch that many, even of other nations, circumcised their foreskin for fear of the Jews, that they might procure safety to themselves thereby. Okay, so they were assimilating. They were assimilating to the laws, and I want to read this as well because, like I said, it's funny that y'all went into Esther, because when you go into the same book, more further along, it says so in it's in chapter 8, same book. It says in chapter 8, excerpt 6, says, "So when Alexander had thus settled matters at Jerusalem, he led his army into the neighboring cities, and when all the inhabitants to whom he came received him with great kindness, the Samaritans, okay, who had then Shechem for their metropolis, a city situated at Mount Gerizim, and inhabited by apostates of the Jewish nation." Let's get that word apostates. Okay, it says and inhabited by apostates of the Jewish nation.
Apostate in the etymology is one who forsakes his religion or faith. Defection, desertion, rebellion.
There you go. You see? So it says what? A city situated in Mount Gerizim and inhabited by apostates of the Jewish nation. They were converts. Okay? It says, "For such is the disposition of the Samaritans, as we have already elsewhere declared that when the Jews are in adversity, they deny that they are the kin of them, and then they confess the truth. But when they perceive that some good fortune have befallen them, they immediately pretend to have communion with them, saying that they belong to them, that derive their genealogy from the posterity of Joseph and Manasseh." Okay? And so let's get the woman at the well situation to reinforce that. Okay? Because that's what she did when she heard about everlasting life and the water and all that. She was like, "Oh, I'm a Jew too." You know? And what the Lord did, he cut her. Okay? But Jake don't understand that. They don't understand this part, that even in the matter of fact, I'm gonna get this real quick, because dang, I hope I ain't lose it. Y'all remember where that was at when I was reading about the Cuthians? Oh, I found it. Okay, in the same book, chapter 2, excerpt 1, it says, "When the foundations of the temple were laying," okay, this is how upon the death of Cyrus, the Jews were hindered in building of the temple by the Cuthians, which are Samaritans, and the neighboring governors, and how Cambyses entirely forbade the Jews to do any such thing. Okay, because Cyrus approved of it, Cambyses stopped it, and then Darius reinstated it through Zerubbabel. Okay, it says, "When the foundations of the temple were laying, and the Jews were very zealous about the building it, the neighboring nations, and especially the Cuthians, whom Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, had brought out of Persia and Media. Let's get that account within the scriptures. Have a quick shot.
So 2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 23. It says, until the Lord Yahweh removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by our servants the prophets.
Yeah, because Israel, the northern kingdom, were removed out of the Lord's sight through the Assyrian kingdom. Okay, Shalmaneser, Tiglath-Pileser, aka Pul, he did the relocating because the reason why the northern kingdom wasn't, the southern kingdom wasn't taken was because the southern kingdom was the ones who made the deal with the Assyrians, okay? Because the northern kingdom was coming up against the southern kingdom. It was a civil war, in lack of better words, and I believe that it could be reversed. My mind escapes me, but they called the Assyrians over for help, thinking that they were just going to help and leave them alone. But what happened was they came and just took Jake. I mean, they took Jake. They helped them, took out the northern kingdom, and then came and then made the southern kingdom. They assimilated them into their kingdom, but they didn't relocate them because they wouldn't go on war with them. But they relocated the northern kingdom. Okay, and let's get that within Second Esdras. Okay, because this is the thing when you're talking about assimilating kingdoms. It's not like you go and you stay in America and I'm still drinking tea. I'm Chinese. I'm still drinking tea. I'm still doing it. No, you got to assimilate to the American way. You still might be an Israelite. I'm gonna say this. There's certain people that assimilate into kingdoms and still keep their tradition. You know what I'm saying? If you go into New Orleans, and you go in the east, and you run into them Vietnamese, they ain't the ones they ain't the one in Chinatown.
Hurry up and buy.
Huh?
The hurry up and buy.
Yeah, they ain't the hurry up and buy. They talking like us, man. You know what I'm saying? Half them Vietnamese, you hear them talking hood and ghettos. That's the bulk of them are from New Orleans, man, because they assimilated to the American way. Okay, mainly the nigger way, man. Okay, but going back, it says when the foundation of the temple were laying, and when the Jews were very zealous about the building it, the neighboring nations, especially the Cuthians, whom Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, had brought out of Persia and Media, and had planted in Samaria, okay, because Cuthians are Median, all right, they're Babylonians. Why are they Babylonians? Because the Persians took over the Babylonian Empire. Remember, this goes back to the Nebuchadnezzar statue. You have the head of gold. That already passed. We're in the silver, okay, which was the Medo Persian Empire, all right? And that's why the Cuthians are Babylonians, because the Babylonians were conquered by the Medo Persian Empire, and they were displaced, okay? And what happened was, when you go over there, you take over the Babylonians. The Assyrians started this idea that I'm gonna take y'all over. I'm going to relocate y'all out of y'all land. I'm going to put somebody else in y'all land. This will stop you from rebelling. This will stop you from leaving. You know, this will make you more subservient to me. Okay? And Esau did that in this land. All right? By taking us from West Africa and bringing us over here. It's the same tactic. All right? Nothing is new under the sun. All right? So this is how the Babylonians ended up in Samaria, and how, we're going to get it. You go ahead, brother, because it's going to show you how they end up being assimilated into our culture. Okay? You go ahead, brother.
So it says back in 2 Kings 17:23, It says, until the Lord Yahweh removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day.
Yeah, so what that comes, not all Israel is going to keep the laws, man. A lot of them jakes that went over into Babylon start liking it. When they over into Persia, start liking it. Went over into Greece and started liking it. And they didn't have to be incentivized to be Grecian or, Roman or whatever, man. Now, there were certain points that happened within these times, because this is the thing. All right, everybody was displaced, right? Everybody was displaced in the time of Nebuchadnezzar. When the statue was made, who all didn't bow? It was only about 4 people, right? It was only 4 people. You know what I'm saying? Out of how many Israelites? Because when other countries, I believe, I would say Medio Persia, Babylon, when they took down and took people, it was accounted that they'd take the nobles, okay, and leave the poor in that land and tell them to till the land and give us the taxes. But we're going to take y'all nobles and make them eunuchs in different positions, okay, which is how Nehemiah got in his position. I believe he was like a guard or a bodyguard or something like that. Daniel, Zerubbabel, okay? These guys end up finding themselves in Mordecai. These guys found themselves in really powerful positions because of that transportation. But this the thing, these guys were transported as nobles. Okay, so the poor people were the ones that they was like, y'all figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
It says, and the king of Assyria brought...
Salakia, which shows you that's why some of the northern kingdom was still here. Okay? But you go ahead, brother.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Kutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning. So
what you think happened? They just shoved them all in there and we all stayed there? No, he removed Israel, then put them there and put Israel somewhere else, man. And wherever Israel was, it was learning it, guys, learning it. It was a whole different, it was a culture shock. Okay? It's a culture shock anywhere you go. If I take it, me coming up here from New Orleans to Nebraska, it's a culture shock. It's different. People talk different. I'm like, damn, people don't speak. People don't do this. And it was normal. Like, oh, man, I talk to adults like this. Down south, it's like, no, you don't do that. It's like a culture difference. How much more of a country? And you gotta focus on keeping your laws around people that's in a different culture. You know what I'm saying? Most people that are, your accent alone will go.
Being persuaded and enticed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I go down south to my pop and they're gonna look at me crazy. Oh, nigga, you sold out. Ooh. And that's just from state to state. So let's use some common sense here. All right? When these Cuthians were transported to Samaria, let's get that account where they had to keep the laws because the bears was tearing their ass up, man. Or the lions was tearing their ass up.
It says, 2 Kings 17:25, it says, and so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria knew not the manner of the power of the land.
Yeah, they didn't keep the laws, man. All right? In the land of Israel. So when they got moved into the land of Israel, they weren't keeping the laws, and the Lord started afflicting them. Go ahead, brother.
Therefore he had sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the power of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom he brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the power of the land.
Yep, so now then you fast forward to the woman at the well. This is why you get this mentality. Then we already read how the Cuthians they will play like they're Israelites when it's beneficial, and they'll act like they're not Israelites when it's not. Go ahead, brother.
This for the woman at the well.
Yeah.
John chapter 4 and verse 20. It says, "Our fathers worship in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Yahushua said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews."
Yeah, salvation is of the Jews. So why would he tell her that? It's common sense. We done gave you the backdrop already. Why he said that? Because she was a Babylonian by blood. Okay? The Lord didn't heal nobody that wasn't an Israelite, man. All right? The miracles he did was all on Israel, man. From Peter to Yahushua, as the brother Yashawamba brought out. Beautiful lesson, by the way. Okay?
By your faith ye are healed.
And it also says for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. You know, just to add on to that, which is like the brother said, Israelites.
Done. So I'm gonna read a couple excerpts and then we're gonna close it out, man. But it's not nothing. This is not rocket science. This is not something that will go over your head. Y'all just don't want to realize this because this is too easy to. Y'all playing games. Y'all just want Esau to make it, man. You just desperately want him to make it. You hear Gentile. You hear they were converted to Jews. You go into that, man, and somebody beat you up and make you say uncle, nigga. That's all it was. Like, come on, bro. Like, this is not... You don't got to be a genius to pick this up. You know, but you're spiritually blinded. So I'm going to read this last little couple excerpts in chapter 4, 1 and 76 in the Josephus. It says, "He then built the altar," talking about, because when we was, our people were building our people were rebuilding the temple, it was the Samaritans that was trying to cog block, man. Because they felt like they had a part of it and they weren't assimilated into the situation, man. You could come and worship, but you couldn't build. All right? And that's what they got that cut and they got mad. They say you can come over here and worship, but you can't partake. This is not your thing. Okay? You can sit here, you can get on a ride, but this ain't your amusement park. My dad Walt Disney's not your dad. I invited you. Yeah, don't get, because you sitting here walking around with me, you can't tell nobody what the ticket prices is. You can't change the ticket price. You can't, don't get too comfortable. That's what it is. Because in the kingdom of heaven, the nations are going to keep the laws. They're not going to be Israelites. They're still going to be heathen. They're not going to inherit the new bodies. They're not going to have the laws written in their inward parts. They're not going to have chariots. But they will flow into the gates of Israel asking how to serve them. Let's get that, Baba Quashab.
It's like a club or a lounge, you know what I'm saying? People can come in, but then you have the VIP section. Everybody's not invited into the VIP section.
Well, you might get the VIP section, but you don't own the club.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The owner of the club get different access. He can walk through any door. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You get a drink if you want.
yeah, like he can do that. Now, if you with me, you might share that. But if I'm not around, you ain't getting that.
Right.
It's not for you.
Cut off.
You know?
That's right.
You don't. If you're around the elect or a man of the Lord in the kingdom of heaven, he's blessed. So naturally, you're going to be receiving something of it. You know what I'm saying? So people around you be like, hey, this is my armor bearer. Oh, that's your armor bearer? And it could be a heathen. They'd be like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? But in all actuality, when you look back at it, all the prestigious jobs are going to be given to Israel like King Solomon did, man. All right? Heathen are going to be the garbage men and construction workers and factory workers, hypothetically. All right, because ain't no more mass production and industrial shit going on in the kingdom of heaven. But the point is that y'all are going to get the shitty jobs, and we're going to get the good ones. All right, and it's going to be based off of nepotism, man.
Yep.
You know, you did it wickedly, and it's going to be forever righteous. You had your turn, and you did nepotism, and you did it wickedly, man. All right?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. And
Yep, that means that what? It's going to be ruling over mountains of government. And it's going to, our government is going to rule over everybody else's. That's why it's sitting on top. It's why it's higher. It's going to be it's the pinnacle of living. Okay? Just like America, you know, you'll go on Instagram seeing kids doing a little, any dance that Americans do, wearing American clothes, talking like, because America is the standard right now. But Israel is going to be the new standard. It's going to be way more incredible, so people are going to be way more inclined to be Israelites. Okay? Niggas want to wear Nike and shit and play basketball and do all this, like all these niggas coming from Europe into the NBA and shit. You know, everybody ain't flowing from America to the other places. You failed as a pro to go into the other leagues.
Right.
Oh, this nigga suck. What's that dude name? Stoudemire, not Stoudemire, but the dude that had the crazy looking shoe. You put the 3 on side of his head and shit.
Strawberry.
Strawberry, yeah, that boy going crazy over there. Him, Dwight Howard. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about putting up monster numbers over there. Nobody would know. Nobody would know.
Yeah.
Dude putting up 80 a night. Nobody knows, man.
You got a statue over there.
Yeah. Like Smack said, man, follow the innovators and not the imitators. They only count when you do it over here. You know? If we don't call it, that's how it's gonna be in the land of Israel. If we don't call you blessed, you ain't shit, man.
That's right.
I don't care if your uncle say you cool, if we don't say you cool, you ain't shit. And that's gonna be the new standard, and you heathen can't do like the Cuthians and try to jump in and try to partake in the blessings, but you don't want to assimilate yourself with the afflictions.
Exactly.
Y'all ain't none of these heathen here, ain't none of them biased.
Yep.
That's the thing, ain't none of them, but y'all want to participate in salvation, but ain't none of y'all biased.
Remember, the scriptures tell you in Revelation 11, they joyed and sent gifts to each other when those 2 witnesses had fell, which represented the northern and the southern tribe. When he was taken over and trampled, these other nations was glorifying that, man.
Yep, because it was free to buy and sell how they want.
But now you're understanding, you know, that stock y'all invested in is plummeting. You know, and the new stock, everybody can't get a hold of it, but you're trying to become that to get to invest in it. It don't work like that, man.
The chickens is coming home to roost. And now you done had your fun on this water slide, this theme park, and you're like, all right, I'm done. Let me go be an Israelite so I can get this salvation real quick.
Right.
Nah, bro. Y'all ain't go through no slavery. Y'all ain't go through getting beat, murder, genocide. Y'all ain't go through what the Taino Indians went through.
The Lord not even choosing all of Israel. So why the hell would heathens be able to
just jump over them?
Exactly.
But okay, what if they did good? Cyrus ordained the temple to be built. Darius ordained the temple to be built.
Yeah, much better than that.
What you say? The Ammonite circumcised themselves.
Yep.
The Cuthians circumcised themselves. Antiochus Epiphanes converted. Okay? He put the garment on, all that, man.
If I'm not mistaken, Ruth wanted to stay with the Hebrews, but they like, nah, you know, after her husband was gone, they
like, go to your people. Because your ties was over. The person that she was walking around with thinking, you know what I'm saying, oh, I'm a part of this, the owner died. So it's like your will is gone, your attachment's gone. But through the Spirit, they let her in. because of her faith. Not, well, I can't say her faith, but her strong belief in our culture. So it's like a thing, an act of mercy, man. Not a necessity. Oh, we gotta have her. And no, it was like, man, I respect your zeal, man. You know.
It was real quick. I forget her. Why can't I think of her name? Rahab. You know, when they came in the land, she knew who they was. She knew what people they was because she heard the stories, and they showed her mercy because of what she did for them.
Yeah, and Rahab has a good name, but she's not going to inherit the
That's
kingdom.
A good name, yeah.
But like the brother said, when you go into the kingdom of heaven, Rahab, we see Rahab, she gonna get love.
Yeah.
You know, but you're not gonna get a house in the city because that's not in your inheritance. You're not gonna have the bodies we have.
That's right.
But we're gonna be like, oh, Rahab. Every time she come back, yo, Rahab, man. every time, because we ain't going nowhere. Yeah, you back again, Rahab, man. Rahab gonna get bread. She gonna get love shown unto her.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But you won't get the new body because that's the Lord's blessing that He's bestowing on the nation of Israel.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Now we're God's to y'all. We're going to bestow y'all blessings for what y'all did unto us, the favorable things, man. Okay? The heathen that did good things, we're going to be good guys unto y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Titanium scepter.
Abaratazah, we are part of the initial number, man.
You want to finish this, Isaiah?
Nah, I'm about to get...
Come.
It says, chapter 4, excerpt 176, line 76, says, he then built an altar on the same place it had formerly been built, that they might offer an appointed sacrifice upon it to the Most High according to the laws of Moses. But while they did this, they did not please the neighboring nations. This is what we're doing. This is what's pissing vocab off. This is what's pissing these heathen off. Because we are, just like in Esther, they were building a physical church. We're building a spiritual church right now. Yahushua is the foundation. Peter's the first brick laid. What do you think we're doing? We're laying the bricks, just the same as in Esther. And when they was building the temple up then, and Nehemiah pretty much building the second temple up, and how the heathen were hindering because they couldn't take part how they wanted to. You can worship, but you can't build how we build. Matter of fact, let's get that. Abaratazah brothers could find it. I'm gonna read this last little excerpt, and we'll read that if brothers could find it. It says verse 3 or excerpt 3, line 84. It says, but when the Samaritans, who were still enemies to the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, because the northern kingdom left already, heard the sounds of the trumpet, they came running together and desired to know what was the occasion of this tumult. And when they perceived that it was from the Jews who had been carried captive to Babylon and were rebuilding their temple, and this time we were building the spiritual temple, they were building the physical, which is the third temple is the spiritual temple. All right. They came to Zerubbabel and to Joshua and to the heads of the families and desired that they would give them leave to build the temple with them and to be partners with them in building it. For they said, we worship their God. All right, they converted, especially pray to him and are desirous of their religious settlement. And this ever since Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, transplanted us out of Kutta and Media to this place. So they're admitting that they're not Israelites. They're from Media, but that's the land they're from, is who they are. It says, when they said thus, Zerubbabel and Joshua, the high priest, and the heads of the families of the Israelites replied to them that it was impossible for them to permit them to be their partners, whilst they only had been appointed to build that temple at first by Cyrus and now by Darius, although it was indeed lawful for them to come and worship, it was lawful, y'all could worship there if they please, and that they could allow them nothing but that in common with them, which was common to them, with all other men, to come to their temple and to worship there, not to build. This is not your thing to touch, but you can worship. The whole world is going to worship their Heavenly Father when the kingdom of heaven is enacted. I don't mean that it's your kingdom. Okay?
Yeah, when you
Hey, I could celebrate the Saints winning. It ain't my team. Hey, hey, what happened when the Eagles won? Kevin Hart, that nigga try to go up on that porter to turn your monkey ass around, man. You ain't up. Only Eagles can get on. You ain't on a team. Because you're a real Eagles fan and you are high ranking among us. You can't come in this area because only the Eagles can be on there.
he ain't in the locker room, none of that, right?
Yeah, some of them could go in there, but you can't. There's certain, like you said, like you're emphasizing, there's certain areas that you can't touch because you're not a part of the team. Okay?
Trying to get in the team photo and shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna get this last little excerpt. Did y'all find that?
What did you want again?
The when they told the heathen that they can't build with them.
Oh yeah, I got it.
So I'm gonna get this last one and then I'm gonna let you get that. In the excerpt, chapter 8, excerpt 112, excerpt 8, line 112. It says, "For before their captivity and dissolution of their polity, they at first had kingly government from Saul," talking about us, "and David for 532 years, 6 months, and 10 days. But before those kings, such rulers governed them as were called judges and monarchs." Because before we had so-called kings, our kings were considered judges. All right, Samuel, Samson, Joshua, those were technically kings of Israel. That's how it was supposed to be. You'll get somebody that was prominent that would guide us into the direction that the Lord wanted us to go. But our people asked for a king, and thus we got Saul. All right? It says, under this form of government, they continued for more than 500 years after the death of Moses and of Joshua, their commander. And this is the account I had to give of the Jews who had been carried into captivity, but were delivered from it in the time of Cyrus and Darius. But the Samaritans, being evil and enviously disposed to the Jews, wrought them many mischiefs by reliance on their riches and by their pretense that they were allied to the Persians on account that thence they came, and whatsoever it was that they were enjoined to pay the Jews by the king's order of their tribute for the sacrifice, they would not pay it. So they was hating so bad that the king told them, like, y'all, instead of paying me, y'all pay them so they can build their temple back up. But they was like, man, we ain't gonna give them nothing. We ain't even gonna listen to the king, the same person you trying to go to hate on us. The irony, you know. So let's get that and we'll close on out, brothers.
Yeah, this is the book of Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, "Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord power of Israel."
Because you got to think about it. They're under the Persian rulership. So they had 57 provinces, states. These are different like countries, 57 countries, because these was different people and cultures that were taking over. All right, that's like taking over Mexico and Jamaica, and they next door to each other. Like, you can't just tell everybody to start over culturally. They're gonna still be They just have to pay taxes. All right, that's what you have to understand. That there was a bunch of why go watch 300, man. You didn't see one style of an army. You seen different styles of armies.
Yep.
Different cultures.
That was all one army.
That was all one army. Yeah. You had the elephants. You had the ninja knight niggas.
The immortals.
The immortals, yeah. The ninja knight niggas, like I said. Yes, sir. You go ahead, Doug.
Verse 2, it says, Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build a house to our power, but we ourselves together will build up a house to the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, have commanded us.
And the thing is, this is a beautiful connection because they're building a temple, and the people that are building the temple now, what's the reward? Salvation. So what is it telling y'all? Y'all ain't getting salvation, man, because the elect is the only ones that's building the temple up. Okay, and that's the ones that's gonna receive salvation. The ones that stood stiff, the ones that's laying their bricks. You know, and that's what it is. So hopefully this was edifying. You know, if not, you know what I'm saying, you bugged out. With that being said, we're gonna give all praises unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachakadash.
Double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.